Hey guys, welcome back to another one. Today's video is going to be about communication styles and what form of communication is the most effective. Stay tuned. Today's video is actually a request from one of my subscribers that wanted to see me make a video on aggressive versus assertive styles of communication. So we're going to talk about that, but I'm also going to talk about two other communication styles as well in this video. We're going to talk about 4 communication styles. We're going to talk about passive communication, aggressive communication, passive-aggressive communication, and assertive communication. So starting out with passive communication. So passive communication is the kind of communication that solely keeps the other person in mind that's receiving the communication. So people that communicate passively are only keeping the feelings of the other person in mind and not their own. I apologize that there's a buzzing sound because I think there's a fly in here somewhere. Happy spring. People that are passive communicators, they avoid expressing their own emotions during conversation. They ignore their thoughts and their feelings and their desires, and they tend to really struggle with standing up for themselves. I kind of call this the people pleaser style of communication because people that communicate passively, we don't like people to be mad at us. That really bothers us. We want to make everyone happy, so we just kind of go along with the flow. We don't express our own feelings and opinions. We don't want to stir the pot at all. This is a problem because it really means that we are disregarding our own personal boundaries and our own feelings and opinions on things because we're allowed to have those. And I will say that this type of communication style can be really hard to break because it really is heavily reinforced. I mean, we kind of like people that just go with the flow. Easygoing, laid back, those are all ways to describe passive communicators. So number 2 is aggressive, and this is the exact opposite of a passive communicator, is an aggressive communicator. This person prioritizes all their wants and needs and doesn't take into any type of consideration the other person's wants or needs. So these people are also bad with boundaries, but it's going the opposite way, in the way that they disregard the boundaries of the other person. These people can really come off as verbally aggressive and even controlling. It's my way or the highway, baby. And this can leave other people feeling really bullied and really hurt. So these are the people that we try to avoid communicating with because they're very confrontative, and it can make us feel really uncomfortable, and we don't feel like we're being heard when we are speaking with an aggressive communicator. Number 4 is passive-aggressive communication. So a person who's passive-aggressive does express their wants and needs, but they do it in a really underhanded way. We can think of passive-aggressive communication basically as aggressive communication because the intentions are pretty similar. It's just done in an indirect type of way. So this can look like asking someone or requesting something from someone and them like really dragging their feet on it. They're not like attacking. They're not going to be like, heck no, I'm not going to do this. Shut up. They're like, yeah, I'll do it at my own pace. They'll have like a really negative attitude about doing it. They'll kind of come off as kind of being sullen. They might act stubborn. Passive-aggressive communicators are often people that are pretty stubborn, usually chronic avoiders. So instead of directly addressing a concern with a person, they'll just avoid them altogether. They're not mad at them. They're fine. The problem with passive-aggressive communication, for one, it can be quite manipulative. The second problem is it really does deny emotional openness. Shutting down an issue is not very validating. Dragging your feet and taking forever to accomplish a task for someone that you agreed to, not cool. In reality, passive-aggressive communicators really do struggle with emotional openness. So there might be some emotional stunting. They might have come up in a home that kind of shunned emotional expression. They weren't validated themselves, so they struggle to validate other people. And they also don't like confrontation, and they don't want to stir the pot. So that's kind of where that avoidance piece comes from. The 4th and final type of communication style I'm going to talk about today is assertive communication. And this is really the best form of communication that you can utilize. Being assertive is to be open while you are expressing your own feelings, desires, and wants, and also taking into account other people's feelings, desires, and wants. Really, the key to being assertive is to be 3 things. You want to be open. So we want to be open about what we're feeling about a certain situation. We want our message to be very open. We want to be honest. So we're not being passive aggressive, because passive aggressive communication is kind of dishonest, right? So when we're being assertive, we are being honest. We're being honest about how we feel about the situation. And we do want to be direct. But with being direct, we are considering the feelings and thoughts of other people, like I said before. So we're not being aggressive about it. We're being direct, but we're not being aggressive. You can be direct and not be aggressive. So where an aggressive communicator might do things like blame and shout to try to get their point across, someone who is communicating assertively is going to be direct about how they're feeling, but they're not going to make others feel judged or blamed or bad about themselves. A really good way to communicate assertively is to use I feel statements. So if you're having a conversation with someone and you're trying to express that something is bothering you, saying things like, when you do this, I feel like this, is a really good way to be direct and open and honest without being blaming and aggressive and judgmental like an aggressive communicator would be. We're telling someone that something bothers us in a respectful, direct type of way and not being mean. That's what makes being assertive different than being aggressive. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, make sure you hit the subscribe button and subscribe to my channel. I release 2 new mental health videos every single week, and I will see you in the next one.